Good day, everyone. Let us answer this Math Olympiad algebra question. Now we solve for x in x plus x over 1 plus 2 plus x over 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on so forth until x over 1 plus 2 plus so on so forth until 4041 equals 4041. Now, we notice immediately that x is found in every term, so we factor out x, and the equation becomes x times 1, so on and so forth, until that becomes 4041. Now, since there are sums in the denominator, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to simplify these sums by looking for a pattern. Now, we will assume that there are n numbers from 1 to 4041 because this is the denominator having the plenteest number of terms. So we assume it that way. So that would be 1 plus 2 plus 3, so on and so forth until n. Because again, there are n numbers from 1000 to 4041 as we assumed. Now, what should be before n? Notice that there's a space here. So what should be before n? Remember that for any number, the number before it is 1 less than that number. So the number before n should be 1 less than that number n, and that should be n minus 1. And then let's try to get the difference here. You have n minus n minus 1, you have 1. You continue it further, you have 3 minus 2 equals 1, and 2 minus 1 equals 1. So the pattern of the numbers exhibits an arithmetic series. So we will now use the formula S sub n equals n times quantity a sub 1 plus a sub n all over 2. The a sub 1 is your first term, the a sub n is your last term, and the n is the number of terms that you are adding in the entire series. Using this formula for the arithmetic series, since we have the first term and the last term, these numbers here from 1 to 4041 will have a sum of n times n plus 1 all over 2. A sub n is your n, and then the a sub 1 is 1. Since addition is commutative, we can interchange their position. That's why we got the n plus 1 here. So this is now the sum, n times n plus 1 over 2. Using this general pattern, we can now rewrite the denominators as this one. It's just, notice the pattern here, we just applied it in the denominators. And then, since we come up with a complex fraction here, we now reverse the position. We simplify and then reverse the position of the numbers, of the numerators and the numbers in the numerators and the denominators in order to clear out the complex fraction. At the same time, we rewrite 1 as 2 over 2 because the rest of the terms has a numerator of 2. So looking at this, 2 is now a factor for each of the terms. Same thing that we did with x, we're going to take it out. So this is now 2x times 1 over 1 times 2 plus 1 over 2 times 3 plus 1 over 3 times 4 plus so on and so forth until 1 over 4041 times 4042. This time, let's try to examine the denominators once more. Before, these were a series of sums. Now, each of the denominator consists of products of two numbers. Now, let's take, for example, 1 over 2 times 3. In the 1 over 2 times 3, notice that 2 is our n earlier, and 3 is one more than 2. Therefore, using 1 over 2 times 3 as our base, we can see that 1 over 2 times 3 equals 1 over 2 times 2 plus 1. That 2 is our n, and 2 plus 1 is our n plus 1. So this time, this can be decomposed into a partial fraction of this form, and solving this partial fraction gives us the value of b equals -1 and a equals 1. So the partial fraction can now be written as 1 over n minus 1 over n plus 1. Using this pattern, the denominators can be written as this form. Then notice that in this expressions inside the bracket, there is a telescopic sum wherein all the terms in between the first and the last term cancels out. As you can see the pattern. So after all of the terms between the first and the last term cancels out, what is left is this one. 1 over 1 and 1 over 4042. Then we simplify that one. That becomes 2x times 4042 minus 1 all over 4042 equals 4041. Simplify, you get 2x times 4041 over 4042 equals 4041. Then we solve for x. We multiply by 1/2 to cancel out 2. We multiply it also by 4042 over 4041 to remove 4041 over 4042, so that we will be left with x on the left side. Whatever we multiply to the left side, we also multiply it to the right side. So we also multiply the right side by 1/2 and 4042 over 4041. Now, after everything cancels out, you will come up with x, which is equals to 2021, and that is our answer. So the problem now is solved. Thank you so much for watching this video, and enjoy learning.